So guys, before I show you this new piece I picked up, let me turn that so you can see it. Before I show you this new piece I picked up, I just want to show you the two holsters that are being shipped out today. We're getting really good feedback with the holster customers, and to me that is the main ingredient. That is the key. That is the ticket. If people are happy, they come back for more. It's pretty much that simple. So getting a lot of good emails, even personal phone calls, and I appreciate that. So all good. These two holsters, they're both left-handers, and one's a Glock 43 inside the waist with a TLR 6 light, and one is a SIG P2000 inside the waistband, no light. They're fully adjustable. They fit, to me, for what I like, just about perfectly. I'm my own worst critic, because I'm never going to say perfect. I'll say just about perfectly, because I'm always looking for new ways to get them to fit better and better and better. So there's a lot of messing around you got to do, tweaking, putting little pieces of wood here, building it up here, sanding it there, and you're like tweaking it in. I'm talking about the mold, so the gun fits as good as it can. So this is the P365 left hand. It's crazy. It's two different customers, and they both happen to be Coyote Brown, Flat Duck Earth. Okay, and they're both left-handed. How crazy is that? So I said that's weird. I mean, I need to make a video. Maybe that means, I don't know, that's an omen or something. Two Coyote Browns, both of them left-handed. That's just like, for me, so rare. So here's the P365, and I tried making a video with my camera, on my phone, because it's better quality. But when someone calls, it shuts the camera off because the phone's ringing. And then someone told me put it on airplane mode and it won't do that. Well, I did, and it still did it. So there's your P365. Real nice fit, fully adjustable tension, very minimal as it can get it. Easy to take out, but a nice firm snap in. That was my biggest thing. I'm like, how can I get it to where it comes out a little smoother, yet when you put it back in, it still clicks? Because the problem with that is when you're trying to loosen it up with a heat, you can loosen it up, but you're going to lose that positive click because the heat flattens out the indentation. So I said, well, instead of using heat, maybe I'll just build one side up with wood, and it keeps the indentation on this side. So what you got is a smooth draw out and a positive click in, and you can also tighten it and make it as tight as you want. Okay. Now this one came out pretty good today. This is a Glock 43 TLR 6 light, very popular. It's probably the most popular light for the Glock 43. A lot of people got the TLR 6 light, and I make a decent amount of these, not a ton, but as you can see, I have a very good mold for it. It's really clean. It doesn't look warped. It doesn't look wavy. The sight channel is straight and nice deep lines. That's what I like to do. I want it to look like it's factory. I don't want it to look homemade. And again, when it's a light holster, you're not going to have a tremendous amount of tension. It's just going to squeeze and then kind of thump in, but it ain't falling out, right? And of course, you can even make it tighter right here. So everything's rounded off, no corners. Everything's rounded. Everything here, and anything that can poke your body is rounded off, because that's annoying. And the smallest little corner can make it carrying a gun very, very uncomfortable. The main thing I do is I don't want the whole holster coming out of somebody's pants with the gun, if anything would happen. So what I really pay attention to is this clip, how it lands on the platform of the holster. So sometimes the platform of the holster, it's not straight across. it's following the contour of the gun, so you might get this. Like that. So what I do is, when it comes straight across and dips down, that little dip, I will fill that in with wood to make sure it goes straight across. This way, this landing is solid all the way across, and it's pushing really hard on the plastic. So I just want you to know the things I do, because I don't just mold these and polish them and ship them out. You know what I mean? A lot of thought goes into it, because I want you guys to come back. I want you to be happy. I want it to be a great experience. Okay, so that's why I mention all this stuff. But these clips are plastic, but these particular plastic clips are very, very strong, very strong. And like I said, when you're taking it on and off, don't over pull this. Just pull it just enough to clear the thickness of the belt and take your holster out. Thickness of the belt, put your holster in. Don't pull it all the way out, because it is still plastic, and humans are strong enough to break it if you really pull it. But if you do it right, the holster will last you for years and years. I have a holster. Whoops, I don't have it on me. I have holsters with plastic clips on them. I have right now, my holster has a metal clip on it, because I'm just seeing if I like it. It is nice. It really holds on, but I don't know. I'm not that impressed with it. Not for all the extra money it costs. I have other holsters with this clip, and it never broke. It never cracked, and it's been on there a long time. So I'm pretty confident with these clips, or I wouldn't buy them. Trust me. The first group of clips I bought had a tendency to, and they were thick and plastic, but they weren't made out of a stiff plastic. They were made out of a more flexible plastic. So the problem with them was, after a while, after people were doing it, it wouldn't go back down real hard on the holster. It would kind of like slowly lift up a little bit, and then I would have to change people's clips, because the clip would work its way away from the platform. These don't do that. These new clips do not do that. They're awesome. Alright, let me show you what kind of gun I got. So let me just let you know, caught up on the holsters. The links are under the video. If you want to order a holster, now's a good time, because I just caught up. And I just picked up an HK P2000. And I like to talk about HK a little bit. I think a lot of people are confused about HK. It's a very confusing oh, black on black background. That's not going to work. Let's change the background. Ready? Here. It's a confused pistol. People get very confused with this pistol, and I'm going to explain to you what I mean. This is a P2000, came with 2 magazines. I brought it off a really good friend of mine who takes care of his guns very well. It's the only reason why I bought it, a used gun. I don't never buy used guns unless I really know the person, and I know they let me blow this shit off the table. So this friend of mine, Mark, told me he had this for sale. He says, I got an HK P2000 for sale, 9mm. As soon as he said 9mm, I'm like, oh, that's the right caliber for me. And I remember when he bought it, when I worked at the gun shop, he did buy it, and you know, he barely shot it. I think he might have maybe 400 rounds through it, he told me. It looks it too. There's zero wear on it. Now, your typical HK, I'm not talking about the VP9, because that's not a typical HK. I'm not talking about the VP9 SK. I'm not talking about the VP9. They're the more modern trigger HKs, because HK was probably tired of hearing how shitty their triggers are. But you got to remember, for a target gun, yeah, their triggers are shitty. Like if you want to put a target out 15 yards and you're trying to chew out a bullseye with an HK trigger, you either got to train your balls off and really shoot it a lot to do it, or you're just not going to do it. But it's not meant for that. An HK is designed to be just about a indestructible weapon. You can drop it from a helicopter or whatever. They're designed to point, shoot, and go bang every time, pretty much like a Glock. A lot of Homeland Security, people like that use this particular HK P2000 or an HK USP. They're the HKs I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the VP9. It's a whole different thing. If you want an HK that shoots, that's really good for target shooting, and you really want to be super accurate and splitting hairs with it, and you want an HK, I would recommend the VP9. Now, you can always get trigger work done and all that stuff, but like I said, this gun is meant for a disaster. Like this is a war horse. This thing. Same with the USPs. Same with the P30. That's another one. The P30. That's your typical HK. So don't get confused with this. Well, why is the gun so much money, and the trigger so sloppy? Because it's not a gun you go to the range, and you're sitting there trying to put a bullet through the little number 2 on the bullseye. It's not that kind of gun. That's not the kind of gun it is. This is a gun for duty. This is a gun for military use. This is a gun that's just, it's pretty much, it's like an AK. It just works, okay? Now don't get me wrong, these have polygonal barrels, and these guns are dead on accurate. I'm not saying they're not, but it's hard to shoot them accurate because of the slop in their trigger. So that's just how it is. HK seems to not give a shit about that, because I'm thinking, well, our guns are for, you know, serious shit, and we don't care if it has a nice trigger or not. I think that's pretty much their attitude. But if the civilian market wants a real nice trigger where they can have fun bullseye shooting and stuff like that, let's make the VP9, and that's my guess. Okay, but this thing's a badass gun. It's a great size. It's the size of the Glock 19, and it's equally as reliable as a Glock 19. So, any HK I've had, I've never experienced a malfunction at all, and I've probably had, through my whole life, probably 8 of them. You know, and I've never seen one malfunction. Not that it won't. Of course it will. You can get a bad round. You can get a bad batch of ammo. Or the gun's a machine. Something could happen and it might fail. But it's most unlikely to compared to other guns. Okay? Some people don't like where the mag release is. I do. Bang, bang, bang. Your finger's right here and boom, it comes right out. You just got to get used to it. Now if you're training a lot with an American mag release here, and you're real good with it, and you're all seasoned with it, and then you switch over to an HK, you might have an issue because you're just not used to it. So that's nobody's fault. That's a training issue. Feels great. Like I said, they don't. You know, it's not going to feel like a Walther PPQ and you know, these guns like that with these real fancy triggers in them. This thing is just a workhorse, and it's going to work, and it'll never let you down. That's pretty much what it is. It's a fat girl with a pretty face. You know what I'm saying? It'll love you and do anything for you. I don't know if you could say things like that anymore today, man. You got to watch everything you say, man. They'll take your video down. But I haven't shot it yet. I've always wanted a P2000. I never had a P2000. I've had the USPs. I've had the VP9s. I've had, yeah, I think that's all the ones that I've had. But the trigger now, it's very sloppy compared to the guns today. So if I do a reset on the trigger, I'm waiting. I'm letting it out, I'm letting it out, I'm waiting, I'm still waiting, I'm letting it out, I'm still waiting, letting it out, still waiting, still waiting. When's it going to reset? Is it going to reset today? There it is. See what I mean? And then when you pull back, it's still, it isn't at the wall. So you got to pull back, waiting for the wall, waiting for the wall, waiting for the wall. There's the wall. Pull through the wall. Boom. Now pulling through the wall, I will say, is pretty damn smooth. Waiting for the click out, waiting for the wall back, there's a tremendous amount of slop in there. I'm like probably a good 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch movement. So that's real sloppy. But, like I said, this is a gun that's just built not to let you down, reliable wise. So, why there's so much money? I don't know. I don't know. It has the polygonal barrel, so does a Glock, so I don't know what's so special about that. If you don't know what a polygonal barrel is, a regular barrel has rifling and it actually has lands and grooves in it, like a spiral. This doesn't have the grooves in it, but the barrel twists. The steel all twists. If you look inside with a light, you'll see what I mean. You'll see the twist, but you won't see the grooves. There is none. Which is kind of cool, makes it easier to clean. And what it does is, it seals the bullet as it's going down the barrel to keep less gases from escaping. So it gives you more of a, I guess it gives you more of an accurate pop when the bullet's coming out. Keeps the gas behind the bullet more. It's more like, it's like a seal, you know, like an O-ring if you want to look at it that way. It is pretty cool. It's single action, double action. I like that it has a decocker on it. The reason why I think the P2000 is a little nicer than the USP is because it doesn't have the big giant controls on it. The thing I hate about the USP, even though I think it's one of the nicest looking guns I ever seen and still is, especially the Compact 9, the control here, it's got this big giant pin in it and it sticks out to here, and when I'm shooting, the bone on my thumb rests on there and the gun's recoiling, and it's just like, by the time you're shooting 300 rounds, your thumb's all sore, it's irritated. The P2000 is very more streamlined. There's not a lot of controls on it, no bulkiness, and right where you land, where you put your thumb, it's super flat and slender, so it will not irritate your thumb, as you could see, while it's recoiling. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys that. Got a beautiful HK P2000, pretty much brand new, and I could see just by looking at it, Mark really took care of it. Probably barely shot it, and he's one of the rare people that I will buy a used gun from. And there's guys I would never buy a used gun from, because their fingers are always in there trying to play with shit, and they're not gunsmiths. I'll keep their names to myself. But other than that, this is a major score, $475, and that's a great price for an HK P2000. Alright guys, links are under the thing. If you want to order a holster, please do, and that's all I got for you.